everyone. Good morning. Welcome to AMs as Annette, with Annette, as I am calling it, my weekday update for UK businesses all around what is happening now, particularly in relation to coronavirus and the support available and what's happening in the economy as a result, specifically in the UK. For those of you that are new here, have not watched anything that I've done before, my name is Annette Ferguson. I'm CEO of Annette & Co, UK-based accounting firm. I am a chartered accountant and certified Profit First professional, and I help business owners take home as much money as possible from their business. Of course, that can be very, very challenging for many people at the moment, and that is one of the reasons I am here to help you both just now and throughout this crisis as well as beyond. Thank you so much for those of you that are hopping on. I can see we've got some people starting to join us live, so thank you for everyone who is hopping on live. If you're watching on the replay, do give me a hashtag replay in the comments so I can hop back at a later date. Hi Daniel, thank you so much for joining me. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. So I've got my notes, I've got my stream up so that I can see your comments and I can see everything that is happening. Let me refresh here so I can make sure that I can see everything that is coming through to me. So update this morning for coronavirus and UK business. I have a lot of things on my list to cover this morning. Yesterday was a pretty big day, so I have a lot of stuff going on my list. I can see a good morning from someone, but I can't quite see the name. So thank you, whoever it is that on Facebook that is saying good morning. I've got a Facebook user coming through. And usually I can see it on this other screen, but for some reason this morning I have not. So I apologize that I am unable to say hello to whoever that is saying good morning. Let me see if I can see it. It's Steve. There we go. I can see that Steve has said good morning. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Andrea. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, Harry. We've got a lot of people hopping on, so thank you so much for joining me. Yesterday was a really big day in terms of things that happened, so I have a very extensive list of what I want to cover this morning. So first off, I'm not going to start in the obvious place of the bounce back loans. I am going to speak about those, but that is not what I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with furlough, because that seems to be my standard starting point most days for these sessions. So anyone who has been running annual payroll in their business and has gone to try and submit a claim and found that they can't seem to do that, this is for you. So you can claim furlough. You can claim the annual payroll in your business. Sorry, I'm comfy because I'm not comfy with my chair. You can do that. What you need to do if you are running annual payroll and you want to claim furlough, you need to call HMRC and do it manually, basically. So you can do this provided you've annually declared in 18-19. So if you annually declared in the tax year 18-19 and you have now submitted a final FPS for 19-20, regardless of the date of that submission, then HMRC over the phone will be able to manually process your claim. What they will do is you will need to call them, or your accountant will need to call them, and they typically take down the details. They will escalate it to a senior member of staff who will typically call you back and process the claim. So that is how it is working at the moment for those on annual payroll. As I say, in order to do it over the phone that way, you have to have already been under the annual payroll system in the year 18-19, and you have to submit your final FPS, so you can do that straight away and claim under this scheme if that is you and that is relevant. HMRC are also letting us know that they are getting reports that a number of suspicious emails are coming out looking as if they are from them. Please be very, very wary of emails you receive from HMRC. I have said this before, but if there's anything you are unsure of, anything that perhaps might look a little odd, do please check with them. Do not click the links in the email. Go to your government gateway login as you would normally do and log in and check your messages in there. Again, if you are not sure, you can give them a call. And if you have received an email which is clearly a phishing email, is clearly an email that is a spam, or there's some problem that it's clearly not an HMRC email but looks to be one, you can forward those emails. So you can forward them to phishing@hmrc.gov.uk. That's phishing at hmrc.gov.uk is where you can forward any emails that you receive that look like they are fraudulent in relation to HMRC. It's a really good idea to do that, because only in reporting can we try and help stop these things coming out, which catch people out. Hello, Sura. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who is hopping on. And if you are enjoying what I'm sharing, if you're getting value from what I'm sharing, please do share out this video on whatever channel you are on to your followers, friends, connections, likers, all those kind of good things, because that way we can support as many people as possible with this information. So I do appreciate the hearts, the love, the likes, the thumbs up, all that good stuff, the clapping, the waving, all that stuff. Thank you, whichever platform you're on. I massively appreciate it. And I massively appreciate when you choose to share this out as well, so that other people can benefit as well from what I'm sharing. So the next thing I want to speak about today is the tax credit renewals. If you are on tax credits this year, HMRC have said they're going to automatically renew all tax credits. That is apart from claims that they have identified as high risk. So around about 3.9 million customers will be auto-renewing under tax credits this year. So that may very well be you. They have said that there are going to be some customers that they need to write to and seek further clarification, and they will send out packs to do that. But the vast majority of people, they want to be able to just auto-renew, save people a lot of additional admin and stress at this time. So that is their plan for tax credits. So if you do receive tax credits, this may be applicable to you. And I know a number of business owners do receive tax credits, so this may be important to you. Good. So the next thing I want to cover off is the bounce back loans. I'm going a little bit out of sync with my notes, but I do want to speak about the bounce back loans. Yesterday, towards the close of the day, the government announced bounce back loans. Now, I did do a quick live on that, which you may have caught. I did it as soon as I found out the information, and the information I knew at that time was very minimal, but I wanted to let people know that that was on the way and to look out for stuff on that. What we now know is those bounce back loans are devised. Those bounce back loans are designed for micro SMEs. So the loan amount is between 2,000 and 50,000. They are 100% government backed, which means that the system for receiving them should be much, much faster. The system won't be open until Monday, but that is very, very quick, all things considered. So on Monday, the date on Monday is the 4th. On Monday the 4th is when the system will be open for this to be able to apply, and funds are expected between 24 and 48 hours later in your bank account. It is said to be a quick 1 to 2 page application that will be processed very quickly. The loan term will be up to 6 years, and it will be accessed via a network of accredited lenders. We can only guess at this point that it will be similar to the list that came out when the coronavirus business interruption loan scheme was announced. They launched that with about 40 lenders. I would expect that it would be the same list of lenders that is available for that at the moment, but we don't know for sure. But that would be my expectation on that. There's going to be 12 months of no interest, no fees, and no repayments required. You will not have to pay anything back at all until after the first 12 months, which is great news for many people who will struggle when we come out of this, but are hoping to build back up beyond that and then get the support that way. This is really great news for people who have started to try and apply for those coronavirus business interruption loan schemes, or either getting knocked back from their bank or just getting caught up in a whole massive admin and red tape. This sounds like it might be a very, very good solution for you if you are in that position. What I want to reiterate is that if you are considering taking a loan, please remember that a loan is a strategic thing to be taking out. If you could not afford loan repayments prior to coming into this pandemic, it is potentially unlikely that your business will be able to afford them afterwards. And yes, the repayments are not for 12 months, but I want you to understand what that growth curve in your business has to look like and whether or not it will be achievable for you in order to make the decision as to whether this new bounce back loan is right for you or not. We've also seen that they've said that you need to have been disadvantaged financially in some way in your business as a result. So whether they're going to ask for proof of that or not, we are not sure what that might look like as well. We don't know what supporting documentation they are going to require, whether that's going to be on last filed accounts, whether it's going to be able to be management information, whether they're going to look at the business bank account to see the funds coming through to process it that way. We're not sure at the moment what that will look like. We're also not sure what the questions will be on the application form. That's not yet been released, so we don't know on that one either. There is a stipulation as well that the business must not have been undertaking in difficulty as at the 31st of December 20. That's a legal status. So you must not have been in that status. As at the 31st of December 20, if you were, you will not be eligible for these loans either. The entire purpose of the bounce back loan is in the name. It is so that businesses can ideally bounce back after this time period. Do let me know if you have any questions as I am discussing this. It is obviously a very new thing. As I said, this is not necessarily a holy grail for people, because if you don't want to take out a loan, if you don't believe that's the right thing for your business and for you strategically, then you don't believe that's the right thing. And therefore, this is not going to be of any help. But there are hundreds of thousands of businesses who have been trying to access the loan schemes that have already been introduced and are not managing. So for those businesses, this is potentially going to be a lifeline, which is incredibly important, and funds, it sounds like, will be paid out very quickly. So if the system is opening on Monday next week, on Monday, was that the 4th that I said? Yeah, Monday the 4th, we could potentially see businesses with the funds in their bank accounts by the 5th or the 6th, and that would be a massive lifeline for many businesses. So within the next week, having that loan funding in their bank account. Do let me know if you have any questions. Whichever channel you are on, I can see questions are available. I can see the question streams, the comment streams in each platform. So do let me know if you have any questions. I will come by and answer those. So do let me know on that. The next thing that I want to speak about today are oil and gas companies in the UK North Sea. There is a fear that as many as 30,000 jobs will be lost as they are bracing themselves for an even more severe crisis than the oil price crash of 2014. This is a problem if you are supplying the industry, if you work in the industry, if you have links to the industry, or even if you're in a city that is highly supported by the oil and gas industry, like Aberdeen, for example. This is going to cause a problem. 30,000 job losses is a huge number. It is going to put a toll on the local economy, and it's going to put a toll on many, many households, as well as the associated supply chains as well. So this is something that's going to is pretty big. There has been a huge collapse in demand, of course, and that is fueling that. But the investments now are at their lowest level for over half a century in that industry. I'm just going to take a drink of my tea because I have a dry throat. There we go. So what we are also seeing is the pandemic has affected nearly 400,000 housing transactions, 82 billion pounds worth of property sales. That has, again, a knock-on effect for the businesses that support that industry: estate agents, cleaning firms, removals, van hire, all those kinds of things being affected, having this knock-on effect. Plus, potentially some buyers and sellers are going to want to revise deals that they made before lockdown in light of new situations. That is going to potentially cause some issues as well. And there may be lending issues. I spoke yesterday about the pressures on the banks for lending, the pressures of defaults and their liquidity ratios. They may decide to review some of their lending that they'd already agreed for mortgages, those kinds of things. So this may also cause an issue when we are looking at the housing market after we come out of this situation. Excuse me. English local authorities have said they need as much as 10 billion from central government to survive themselves. They have falling income and rising costs. Now, they've already been promised 3.2 billion, but they are saying it is not even close to being enough. By law, this is really interesting. I find it interesting anyway. By law, English local authorities have to operate a balanced budget. That means they are not allowed to be loss-making. They have to balance their revenue with their costs. And at the moment, they've got severely depleted income coming in because of drops in parking, leisure centres, council tax, to name a few, but also increased costs in things like elderly care, disabled care, channeling public health, all those kinds of things. So they're seeing a squeeze on both ends, and they are reporting that there's some big issues there. And the care home sector is also warning that the local authority money is just not reaching them. So it's putting massive pressure on the system there as well. So there are calls for increased funding from the local authorities. Of course, we're seeing calls pretty much from every single area and every single sector for funding from the government. As you know, we have to wonder what on earth this will mean for our future taxes, our children's future taxes, and their children's future taxes. This will have sustainable knock-on effects, and it's going to be a problem. In all honesty, and that is quite concerning what that will look like in the future as a result. The business secretary has ordered officials to work with businesses on guidance covering outdoor, leisure, offices, non-food retail, factory and warehousing, which will feed into the preparations underway around UK companies exiting the lockdown. So there's been discussions on that and working groups put together to work out what might happen at that point in time, as at the point in time where we start easing out of lockdown. The Chancellor has said that they plan a gradual winding down of the job retention scheme in an attempt to avert a surge in unemployment once it expires on June the 30th. This has been a big worry for many, many people, and something that I have seen elsewhere is that the potential is that people who are on furlough are the hidden unemployed. I spoke about this a few days ago, that basically people on furlough are kind of just waiting to be laid off, essentially, once this finishes. So with this gradual winding down that the Chancellor is speaking about, that will hopefully avoid that situation. It says there should be a gradual weaning off support rather than cold turkey. And the Treasury is discussing with business groups and unions how to phase it out. Currently, there are around 4 million people benefiting from furlough at this point in time. 4 million jobs claims have been submitted to the system. We have heard anecdotally that actually, in reality, there's closer to about 9 million people on furlough rather than the 4 million people. Perhaps people have not submitted claims yet. That might be a reason for that. We're not really sure why there would be such a huge discrepancy in those numbers at the moment. But no decision has been taken on when to end the furlough system completely and what that looks like, but they are acutely aware of ending it abruptly and the impact that that will have. They'll also need to decide on how to wind down the self-employed scheme. The self-employed scheme, which of course is relatively similar to the job retention scheme for self-employed people, although it has not started paying out yet and won't actually pay out until June. So that'll be interesting in terms of timing, that it won't pay out until June, but then potentially will stop pretty soon after. So that'll be something to watch as well as to how that is dealt with. Please, if you do have any questions, do let me know in the comments. I will come and answer those. I'm just checking to see if we have any and what those look like. Let's see. Nothing on Instagram. If we got any questions over here on TikTok, let's have a look. Thank you. I very much appreciate your kind words from people that are enjoying what I am sharing and getting value out what I'm sharing. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. If you are just tuning in and wondering what we are talking about, we are speaking about UK business and the support for UK business during coronavirus, what the economy is looking like at this time, all those good things. Hey, Julie, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. And, you know, what that looks like at this present moment in time. What else have we got to cover today? Let me make sure that I am not missing anything out here. Okay, so yes, I spoke yesterday about Lloyds Bank and the pre-application application forms and all those things. They've again been criticised for their disappointing efforts to support SMEs under the Coronavirus Business Interruption Loan Scheme. The FSB chairman has said this is unacceptable. So again, they're coming under some pretty strong criticism for how they have been handling the loan scheme thus far. Perhaps that will change with the introduction of the bounce back loans. We don't quite know yet what that will look like and who the network of accredited lenders are, but we can only assume at this point in time that they may be the same, if not similar, to those who were accredited already for the Coronavirus Business Interruption Loan Scheme. Although of course we know with that loan scheme that there were over 100 lenders waiting in the wings who had not yet been approved to supply those loans. So whether or not they've managed to accelerate any of those with the bounce back loans, we're not sure at this point in time. I spoke yesterday of the issues with the banks, and I mentioned them a little bit earlier today as well. Over the last 24 hours, we had HSBC's quarterly profit announcement, and it is halved. And globally, they have a lost provision of over $11 billion for HSBC. So that's very much the kind of thing that we might be expecting from banks at the moment. As I said, that we are expecting some banks to post losses. We're expecting some significant decreases in profits for other banks at this present time. Firms have also been warned against using brokers using brokers for the Coronavirus Business Interruption Loan Scheme has been warned against. The FCA themselves have said to go directly to lenders. That's the Financial Conduct Authority, have said to go directly to lenders. They warn against one business they found charging £500 upfront plus a percentage of lending. The Treasury has also been quite angered by this type of behaviour, and it said that no one should be charging upfront fees to businesses to access loans designed to keep them afloat. So if you are currently using a broker who is charging you fees, it may be time to revisit that. Of course, brokers have to make money as well, but this is, the Treasury and the FCA have clearly said this is not the time for them to be doing that. So they have come under some strict criticism there. Now, do let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'm just going to check my notes to make sure I have covered all the points that I wanted to cover, because we've had a lot that we have spoken about today. Oh, yes, here is one that I have not spoken about yet. So Employees whilst on furlough are being urged to utilize a new skills toolkit, which has been developed by the University of Leeds. They are being encouraged to make good use of this time whilst they are on furlough to increase their skills, whether that be in things like coming into online meetings, whether that be in terms of their communication, or whether that be things like, other skills that they can then take into their role and use in their role. So that's being rolled out by the University of Leeds for furloughed workers to make better use of their time perhaps than they might otherwise do. And this is a skills toolkit that's being developed. Let me check my notes as well to see if there's anything else that I have not covered that I wanted to go through today. I think that is everything. Yes, it is. That is everything that I have for you guys today. Now, if you have any questions, do let me know in the comments. I will have a look at those and answer those. If you are watching on the replay and you have a question, again, do let me know in the comments. I will happily come back and answer either later today or on our session tomorrow. So please do let me know. I am back at the same time tomorrow, 11 a.m. UK for AMs with Annette, going through the updates for UK business, particularly in relation to coronavirus, in relation to the economy, all those things that are happening at the moment. Hello, Felicity. Thank you so much for joining me. So I hope that has been useful. If you do have any questions, please do let me know. Like I said, I am back tomorrow at 11 a.m. wherever you are watching this, whether that be on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, or within my group, the Uncover Wealth Community. That is my private Facebook group. Wherever you are watching this, thank you so much for joining me. If you do want to come into the Uncover Wealth Community, if you're not already a member, you are more than welcome to join me in there as well. You can just search Uncover Wealth Community in the search bar in Facebook and find us that way. That's the easiest way. Or if you're on one of the platforms that has a link in my bio, you can click on the link there. It takes you to some resources, and one of those is the link to the Uncover Wealth Community as well. Let me just check for any final questions that we may have coming through, because I do want to cover off any questions that we might have. And I can't see any fresh questions coming in. So like I say, we'll be back same time tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. I very much appreciate your time. As always, I know it is incredibly precious, and I hope that you have taken some value from today. If you have, please do share this session on whichever platform you are on so that other people can come and benefit from it as well. I would massively appreciate if you want to do that, to share it out. I do always appreciate the likes, the loves, the hearts, the thumbs up, the waves, the follows, all those kinds of things. I massively appreciate. Thanks again for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll speak really soon. Take care, everyone.